in some of the categories where consumers are continuing to show that they're either looking for a big discount or waiting for a major sale or promotion to take place. What can you extrapolate from these numbers and apply towards, say, the Labor Day sales, or even further out, some of the holiday shopping season sales? Are we going to see major doorbusters and those deals that consumers have come to expect on a cyclical basis because there's inventory that needs to be moved through, or just because Best Buy is going to have to do something to entice the customers back into the store here for some of the larger ticket items?
Sure. A lot there. So it is a more promotional environment. Absolutely. We are seeing it more promotional. We expect that over the holiday season. It's more because of the second thing you said. It's just to, spur demand and get people to come on in and shop. It's less about inventory. Inventory is actually pretty clean right now, not just for Best Buy, but for a lot of retailers. That was a major issue last year. Most retailers, not all, there's still some pockets of heavy inventory, but most retailers have their inventory well under control. But it is more promotional just to get the consumer to come back in. As it relates to Best Buy, the good news is a lot of it is vendor funded right now because the vendors have the same incentive that Best Buy has, and that's to get people back in the store. So it is more promotional than last year. It's going to look, this holiday season is going to look a little bit more like it did pre-pandemic, which is those traditional doorbusters and those types of things, those types of calls to action. Best Buy did say something interesting on the call today, and that is that some of their back-to-school categories are actually doing better than expected. Typically, that bodes well for the holiday season. Back-to-school leads and points the right direction for holiday sales in 85% of the time.
And so does that mean that we are to believe in, and is expected now, that the worst in the tech demand and that lull is behind us?
It does feel like that. So we're still down year over year. But remember, we were down 10% in the first quarter and towards the end of last year. This quarter down 6%, and they said in Best Buy is trending at down 5% in August. Still not out of the woods yet, but getting a little bit better. And Best Buy does think it's possible that holiday sales could be closer to flat. So we are trending in the right direction. There are some interesting green shoots that we heard about in talking to the company. Laptop units are actually flat year over year. That's a good sign. TV units are actually up year over year. Gaming was a strong category. So there are definitely some positive signs that we're seeing.
And Michael, as we're seeing consumers continue to trade down or trade off, which of the retailers do you think are best positioned going into the holiday season and beyond, keeping in mind that we are in an interest rate higher for longer environment?
Yeah, well, bigger picture, we think among the best positioned retailers this holiday season is Walmart for sure. They span the spectrum of categories, but when the consumer is trading down, and we are seeing some of that, we think Walmart is particularly well positioned in this environment. We think the clubs as well are well positioned. A name like BJ's has added a lot to their general merchandise offering, and we think that could help their holiday seasons. Costco always does well in that kind of trade down environment as well.
And so from an investor perspective here, I mean, when you think about some of the top names in retail that investors should be paying closest attention to, even amid what Corey Berry, the Best Buy CEO, continues to call a very kind of unfamiliar or all too familiar macroeconomic environment with several challenges, who would some of those top picks be?
Well, it's all about expectations and what's already embedded in the stock price. And sometimes the best sales performance doesn't necessarily mean the best stock. But that being said, best ideas, again, Walmart, we think is particularly well positioned here. We like Ulta on the pullback that we've seen. We think that represents good value for a name taking market share. Another name that we highlighted as a best idea earlier in the year and has done particularly well, we haven't really talked about in this conversation, O'Reilly Auto Parts. That space is doing very well. And then the last one we'll throw out is Lowe's. Lowe's has been a particularly good stock this year. For them, it's all about closing the margin gap with Home Depot. And through new management over the last couple of years, they've been able to do that.
It certainly makes sense as people try and, do more at home with their cars and with their homes as well, that those are some of the companies that would also be doing well. A big thank you there to Michael Baker, D.A. Davidson, Managing Director and Senior Research Analyst. Thank you for your time this morning.